Jake, thank you so much for coming on the AIM podcast.
All right, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Bro, I've gotten to know you a little bit through social media. I'm still waiting for the time where we get in the gym and crush some weights. But dude, I really have a ton of respect for you, the brand you're building and the way you're trying to truly inspire people, not to mention all the things that you've been through in the last few months. So just want to say, dude, really encouraged by what you're doing, man. I'm really pumped to have you on the show today.
Thank you, man. Likewise. I mean, we both got that same mindset. We're just trying to attack everyday life and show people that this is what we do and this is what everybody can do. You just got to do the work and it'll pay off.
I love it, bro. I love it. One of your big sayings, and we'll probably dive into this deeper later in the pod, but you talk about bang weights, bang miles, get big. I want to know which of those things have you done today so far?
So far, I've banged miles. I had a 1.2 mile swim, and then I'm lifting tonight with my old bodybuilding coach. But I'd like to say that I could stay big all day, but I mean, every time I look in the mirror, I still think I'm small.
That's hilarious, man. How was the swim this morning?
It's good. It's just like today was my best time yet. It was like 40 minutes and like something, I think like 23 seconds. But it's just so boring. Like just swimming for like that. And it's hard too. Like I'm not much of a swimmer is what I kept telling myself, but trying to get out of that whole mindset and just I think it'll be the hardest thing for like a half Ironman or the fulls to swim. So once I can conquer that, and I think a lot of it's just in my head.
Yeah,
Like you've been through it too with any sort of training. Like as long as we can just like push through it mentally, we'll be fine.
100%, bro. Now, are you doing most of your swim training in open water or pools? You do a lot of stuff in the lake, right?
I Yeah, there was a lake in Jersey that I would swim at, but now that I'm in Philly, I mean I don't trust the Philly water, so I've been doing a I've been doing a lot of pool work, but I'm trying to find like a 50 like meter pool where it's at least like 21 down backs instead of like 42 or whatever it is, and like a 25 yarder. But there's not really a lot of lakes out here unless I drive pretty deep.
For sure. Yeah, dude, I know we've chatted about Nathan French. You guys are doing a lot of cool stuff in a relatively similar space. But I remember when he was training for his Ironman, he told me he's like, dude, the swimming was scary, man. He's like, dude, out of
It's
everything, it
horrifying.
just freaked me out, especially open water training. He's like, dude, I had like panic attacks and like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it's true. Like, I mean, I was in like that one lake that you're talking about. I went out with one of my buddy. He just did a Olympic triathlon, and it's his like lake house area. So I was like, we're in the middle of the thing, and like I don't know what's under me. Like, could be a
True.
big fish, like whatever it is. And I'm like, so how deep is it here? He's like, oh, probably like 50 like feet. I'm like, are you kidding? And like I could feel like my heart rate because you're in that skin tight wetsuit where you're already like anxious. But I
True.
mean, I can see where he's coming from. It's like a totally like me, him, like it's like different because we both came off a bodybuilding show and then we just dive right into like something that's like on the total other side of the world. So like
Yeah.
swimming and like doing lat pull downs are two completely different things. So
No,
it's a
that's
rude
fair.
awakening. Yeah.
100%. We live here on a lake here in Florida, and we have alligators in our lake. So
Oh my God.
that's a whole nother added element of fear you have to conquer when you get in the water. Not only is it
Yeah.
dark, and you're swimming, but now you got to watch out for eyes popping out coming at you, bro.
Holy crap. Yeah. Is that where you swim?
So I've done a little bit like we have boat days. We'll go out on the boat and stuff. But
Yeah.
no, we have a pool. We're super fortunate. We have a pool at the house. I'll swim in, but I haven't done a ton of swim training. So I haven't officially announced any sort of triathlon yet. So I've been swimming kind of for fun, but not in like in like a regimented way.
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing is just breathing.
Yeah.
Like, and we'll talk about that too, like going like when we do talk about the accent, but like now, like since I had to get like a nose job and like facial reconstruction with plastic surgery, like
Oh,
my breathing's a little bit different. So like when I'm in a pool, like it feels like because I could adapt to running and biking with like a different kind of like breath, but like when I'm in a pool, it's like heavy. So it's like it's
wow.
been rough to adapt to that, but I mean it's like anything else. Like I know I'll get through it. It's just gonna take a little bit more time.
For sure, dude. Those are things I didn't even think about, man. So I'm excited for you to really dive into that. But I think we should just go ahead and start with hearing more of your story because I think it's really fun. When we bring people on the show, it's like
Yeah.
it's cool because a lot of our community is really involved in this space. And so they do know a lot of the guests we have coming on. But I think it's so much fun for you to get to share a little bit more about your background, just to kind of set the context of, the episode. I know you're a former athlete, man, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about your background and kind of what you've done that got you in this position.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, so I've been playing lacrosse my whole life, so I've always been kind of like I've had that, like you said, the athletic background. And then I was a pretty immature kid growing up, like full transparency. So my parents ended up holding me back. So I did two eighth grades, which was it's more heard of now. People do it for sports, but it was definitely something that benefited me. I was smaller, still a little bit immature even in the second, eighth grade, but sophomore year of high school, my parents separated, and I have two younger siblings. And I talked about this before, where it's like I just felt like I kind of needed to step up and be a little bit more of a man. And I think that that kind of pushed me towards like achieving big things, like kind of like I'm doing now, chasing these big goals. And a big goal for me at the time was like, 'cause I'm big on like I always want something that I'm chasing. So I was a lacrosse player, and I was like, all right, I want to play Division One lacrosse.
Hmm.
So I put my heart and soul into that, and then when I finally achieved it and was playing, I was like, all right, like this might not be for me anymore. Like I still live with all like the lacrosse guys, like it's like I'm a senior in college, but going down the path of like wanting to do like I fell in love with like that running and lifting. And it was just like I would look forward to that part of lacrosse, but the practicing itself just wasn't for me anymore. And
Sure.
then now that's kind of put me in a position now where I am, where it's like I have the time, especially as a college student, where I can train for these kind of things, and I'm in love with it, and I don't see an end ever, just constantly something.
Dude, that's a great story. I played college basketball, and
Yeah,
kind of similarly to you, I graduated and played out my 4 years, but through actually I redshirted one of the years, and then I had COVID, gave me additional years of eligibility, and actually turned those years down to pursue businesses, pursue fitness, and kind of starting my brand.
yeah,
Um, but it's cool how sports can kind of be like that thing that gets you in the game and you learn a lot, you grow a lot. And that's why I'm a huge advocate for people that are involved in some sort of organized thing, whether it's a sport or a club or whatever, you learn a lot and then you can apply it to different things. You get exposure to a lot of things.
100%. Because sports is a lot like business. So like if you can work with the team, like you're gonna be working good with other people, you know what it's like to work hard. So like they correlate completely. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
100%. Now, I'm curious for you though, because I mean, obviously you're lifting and you are running in lacrosse and training and preparation for the season and postseason, all those things. But making the shift from I'm sure the style of training that you're doing now is very different from the way you were training for lacrosse. How did you kind of, I guess, start to gravitate towards that different style of training and get attracted to that versus, how you trained growing up as an athlete?
So freshman year I got on campus, and I wasn't much of a lifter in high school either. Like I dabbled here and there, and I just thought like, oh, like I'm just like a skinny, lanky, quick kid, like I'll be fine in college. And when I got there, like because I was playing in high school, you're playing with like 15 to 19-year-olds. And
Hmm.
then you get to college and you're playing with anybody who's 18 to 24. I mean, it's like so everyone was just bigger. And luckily I got taken under the wing by Billy Hartaliza, who's actually a Navy SEAL, and Jack Anderson, who was a junior at the time. And they were two of like the bigger kids. And I said to them, like, listen, I want to put some muscle on. And basically they took me under their wing. And it's kind of like lacrosse training is kind of like hybrid athlete training, I would say, from the hips down. So like I still follow like that bulletproof knees like kind of style, but with like an emphasis on like a power building at the beginning of it. And that's kind of like so like the change wasn't too much. And like we only lifted 3 days a week for college cross, so I was still doing like bodybuilding on the other days. So it was something that I loved. So like, it wasn't too much of a change, just besides like getting used to distance running. But, like I kind of distance running for me was more of like an escape because like I wasn't really enjoying the cross anymore. So it was like what's something where like that I love that will still benefit me. So on the days where like we like may have not had a practice or it was a shorter practice, like I would just go run, and I wouldn't think either, and I would just wouldn't look at my watch, and I'd stop when I was like, all right, this is starting to hurt, or and then I would look down, I'd be like, holy crap, I just did a double digit, and then from then on it was just like, all right, like maybe I like this more, and I could actually focus on it and see where it'll take me.
Dude, it's amazing. I love that. You talk about seeing a double digit. That's actually funny you bring that up. I remember, so when I finished my college career, the first thing I did was I trained for a marathon, a full 26.2 marathon.
Damn.
And bro, I'd never run more than like 4 or 5 miles in my life. Like five was pushing.
Yeah.
5K I thought was tough. And
Uh-huh.
just to see that consistency in training and your body start to adapt, I think it's one of the coolest things for any new runner, not just, us, but like you have so many walls in your mind of what your body's able to accomplish. and you start to pursue these goals. And if you're consistent and you have the right training program and you have the right people around you to support you through that process, you really can start to break those walls and see just things like you create this confidence of like, man, I didn't even think that was possible. Now I'm doing double
100%.
digits, like 10 miles. Now it's like, okay, 10 miles is nothing if you're doing 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. That's like the beauty of like this hybrid training too. It's just like there's like you said, like you're like constantly like chasing these numbers where it's like you can really do like anything endurance.
Yeah.
And like it's like the adaptability is insane. So like I definitely know what you mean. But dude, going like I like because at least lacrosse it's like a longer field, so like you're running, but basketball is short distance, dude.
For
Like
sure.
that's pretty wild.
Yo, dude, all my teammates thought I was absolutely insane. So our conditioning test in college was the mile. We'd have to like run a fast mile, and like the point guards and the shooting guards were in one group. Then we had like our wings and then our bigs, and there was like different times we had to hit.
Yeah.
I remember a
What were
guy.
you?
I was in the wings, so I was like a perimeter player. So I was in the wings group, and I want to say
Okay.
so the fastest I ran in college was a 4:52, and that
That's
was
solid.
so yeah, I won the mile each year in college, but my fastest mile ever is 4:30. I did that in high school track.
That's
Um,
crazy.
dude, it's just one of those things like I enjoyed running, and
Yeah.
not to completely divert it, but one thing that I did with running, and a lot of my teammates would be frustrated if we had to run for punishment or whatever. There's such a negative connotation with that, and people would be like, "Oh, we're punished. I don't want to run." Like, and then you create this like this relationship in your mind where like running equals bad, and like I was like, "No, no, no, wait." Even
It's good.
obviously, we shouldn't mess up or we're getting punished, but like if we can change that relationship in our mind with other things, running or whatever it is, and say, "Look, this is actually benefiting me," and see that side of it, then it's like, oh wait, I kind of desire this. And then
Yeah.
you become like an odd man out and it's kind of sick.
Yeah. It's like the David Goggins thing where it's like can't hurt boat crew too, like when they were like the instructor
Yeah.
trying to make them do hard shit and they're just like embracing it. It's the
No.
best way to do it.
When do that's literally what you do all the time. And I'd love to talk to you. So you talk about hybrid training. Like I would say you're one of the most relevant hybrid athletes right now in the space for kind of this age group. Why do you choose hybrid? And like from a we can talk about the physical like benefits and why you like it just in terms of training, but I'd really love to tap more into your mindset because like hybrid training is very difficult. Like
100%.
most people won't are scared of it either because it's too time consuming or it just puts your body in a really exhausted state or like there's a long
Yeah.
list of excuses. But why did you seek it out? And why do you desire it?
So I think for me it was like my whole life I played lacrosse. So I've been stuck to like one thing my entire life. And for me it was like, all right, if I want to play in college, like I can't really waste my time with other sports. Like this is my life now. Like I need to train lacrosse, lacrosse, lacrosse. And I think that when I got out of that, it was like I love lifting, but I also love running. But like, do I like bodybuilding? Like whatever it is, like there's always something that I'm gonna love more at a time. And it was marathon, like it was distance running at one point. Once I like kind of weeded away from that, I was like, all right, like I want to put on some size. So then it was powerlifting. After powerlifting, it was like, all right, well then now like I want to kind of get cut up. Like I bulked up a little bit, like bodybuilding. And now it's like, all right, well I've done these three. I missed the distance running, but I want to like try biking or swimming. So I think the hybrid training that was so appealing to me was like I can literally just like no matter what it is, I'll never get bored. And
Mm,
so like I have this little book where I write down all my goals and there's like monthly goals, yearly goals, whether it's financial or like just like weight wise or putting on muscle, body fat, whatever it is. But there's this like huge goal that I'm chasing that's years down the road, which is I wanted to get my IFBB pro card. I want to be an Ironman and then I want to do an ultra marathon so I can just for me that'd be like all right like now like I've done it all and like that's realistically like my goals but those are far away but like you said like this hybrid thing that you can do anything and like it's hard but like it's never boring and like you never feel stuck like the second I felt like with bodybuilding like especially like past 4 weeks or the last 4 weeks of like prep I was like 1,300 calories. Like I'm eating like a little girl. Like my anxiety's through the roof. I'm hurting. Where it was like, do I really want to do this of another show like right now, or like do I want to hop into something else? So it was me like, all right, like what's something that's going to challenge me, and what's something that's going to be really hard. And I think like the only thing that was in my mind was like I want to be an Ironman, and that's like what I'm working towards now. And like I said, like we'll talk about that action, but even with like the biking, like even just getting back on, like I think like I love the word courageous and like right now, like every single like biking's a huge part of the Ironman. So like the longest too. So every single morning, like I have to like sit at like 5 a.m. like when there's no cars out, because it's my biggest fear right now, and just be like, I need the courage to get on this bike every single day. And I think the more that I was talking to my girlfriend about it today, like I'll have these breakdowns about like full vulnerability where it's like the bike scares the shit out of me. Like I'm like on these main roads and I'm like literally like, please don't hit me, please don't hit me. But I think the more that I bike, like the less I'll be afraid of it. Like it's definitely put like a PTSD in my mind, but I think that like in the long run, I know that if I chase this big goal of becoming this Ironman, it's gonna be like I would hope that it just flushes that fear away where it's like, and I think that that'd probably be like my biggest achievement yet. It's just getting over that.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
I love that you bring up courage. Dude, I'm gonna butcher this. I wish I could have nailed this quote, but there's a we talked about in church yesterday actually about how like courage is really not like letting fear like rule you. It's not like overcoming fear. It's actually like the way the pastor is describing it, it's like actually prioritizing the things that are more important than fear. And so it's like
Yeah.
if you keep fear at the front of your mind and you allow it to dictate what you do and like you let it determine what path you take, you're putting fear above the things that you know are what you should be doing. Versus with
100%.
courage, you're able to put those things that you know you should be doing, those things that are going to help you grow, that are going to help you get your goals above fear and make fear come secondary to the priority of what you need to, obtain.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think like being like I think like if you're a courageous person, like that's probably like the best characteristic that you can have. Because it's hard to like find courage. It's hard to like be consistent with courage. So like yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, bro. No, it's good. I love what you said too. Like you have these incredible goals. Pro card, Ironman, Ultra, those are things that are like these achievements will be, I'm sure, very rewarding to you because it's going to take a ton of work. It's not going to be something you just show up and do. Like you got to put the time in, you got to build that base, that foundation. But the cool thing about pursuing hard goals like that, and I'd love to hear your take on this, is all the other things that you unlock in the journey, in the process to get those things. And I think
Oh yeah.
that is what people miss. And I want you to talk about that because I think it's like that classic picture of the iceberg. It's like you literally see just the tip sticking out, but you don't see all the work, all the
100%.
ice under the water. And those are the things that are really valuable that you maybe don't can't see, but they're coming with that process of choosing to do hard things, going after goals, putting yourself out there. Like talk a little bit about that because I know that's something you've probably been able to be affected by as you've been pursuing this lifestyle of just challenging yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now it's my turn to butcher a quote, but like I'm trying to like remember how it goes. I might need a second here, like 'cause I don't want to destroy it. Where it's like the person who loves walking. Like, you know the quote I'm talking about?
I think so. Is it one that Nick Bear has referenced before?
Yeah, the person who loves walking will walk further than the person who loves the distance or something, or the end goal or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Like kind of like with that quote, where it's like if you like consistently love bettering yourself and are consistently loving like I think like there's nothing more fulfilling than like doing something extremely hard. Like even like if people like with squats, like if you have a heavy squats, it's like shit, this is gonna suck. But the second you finish, it's like, oh, like let's go. And then in 2 minutes later, it's like, all right, let's do it again. Like it's like that constant fulfillment. That's kind of like with like the journey. Like, and I've gone through that with like running my first marathon. Like like just like you said with being a basketball player. Like I was like I'm just a lacrosse player. Like
yeah.
that's all I've been my entire life. Like I'm not a marathon runner, but getting out of that mindset where it's like why not? Why can't I be a marathon runner? Like why can't I go to or why can't I go to nationals for bodybuilding? Like, and that was like a huge goal of mine. And then, or why can't I be an Ironman? Like, I think that people put these restrictions on themselves before they even try anything. And I think that through that process of like the journey, like the end goal is great. Like getting a medal, like it's like, all right, I finally did it. But you'll find so much more about yourself during like that hell you put yourself through than like the race itself. Like I think like because like it's the training that is the hardest part. Like at the end of the day, like when the race comes, like you're just racing.
Yeah.
Like it may be like a 4 hour marathon or a sub 13 hour Ironman, like whatever it is. Like, but like that's just like 13 hours. Like you're putting like hundreds of hours into this. And I think when you fall in love with that, like you're just destined to be great.
Dude, it's so good, bro. I love that you said that, man. That's so good. It's funny too, I'll talk to people from time to time, struggle with confidence. And, I think it's a real thing. Like I
Oh,
think it's
definitely.
everybody has at some point. But I think one of the best things you can do for your confidence is do something hard. Do something
100%.
hard. Like put yourself out
Yeah,
there. Do something that's going to challenge you. Because if you can get through that, you're going to start to build. You're going to start to build. You're going to be like, oh wow.
easily.
You're going to trust yourself. You're going to be like, dang, I did
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
That's an Alex Hormozy quote. Um, oh my God. It's like you don't find confidence by yelling affirmations in the mirror. You find confidence by having an undeniable stack of proof that you are who you say you are. And I think you said like the more hard stuff that you do, like the more you're gonna be like this is who I am. Like I feel good. You're gonna walk around with your chest high. Like I remember how I was in high school. Like in high school, like especially my junior year, like I was maybe 210, no muscle, like just flab, zero confidence about myself. Like I would let people walk all over me. I let people like say bad things about me. And now it's like I would never let any of that fly. Like it's like I know who I am. Like I know my know your worth. And it took so long to get there. But like having that mindset where it's like, like at first when I was running this like first my first marathon, like I'm not a marathon runner. Like fuck that. Like I can be whatever I want. Like it's gonna be rough, but like why can't I do that? And I think like David Goggins, he's all over the place, like with like his speeches, and he takes it to a whole nother level. But like he's right, like it's to an extreme, but like he's 100% right about like anybody can do anything.
Mhm.
And like sadly, I was stuck in like I said it still happens to me sometimes too. Like nobody's perfect. Like I struggle just as much as the next guy. Like I'll still like there's days of training where like especially now like I talked about like that bike like most people like Ironmans are hard, but like I still have that emotional battle every single 3 times a week when I'm waking up and I'm just like God damn, like I gotta like another pedal and like another like 4 hours of it, and then like it's more like getting out of that mindset of the fear. Like it's gonna take time, but like, did I still think about it right now? Like it's burned in my head this bike.
I want to talk to you about the accident, but I have one more question kind of before we do that from a mindset. I'm genuinely curious your take on
Yeah.
this because this is something I've kind of dealt with. So I've done a marathon, a full half. I did a 50-mile trail run, 50-mile trail run in September or in March in San Francisco. But you start to like there's resistance, right? When you put yourself out there, you do these hard things, and like obviously if you go with the right mindset, you have a good community, you're locked in, you're disciplined, you're gonna get through, you're gonna succeed. But like
Hell yeah.
there is resistance. But once you start completing them, and I don't know if I'm a little off or if this is something you've experienced as well. Like there's a
We're
part
all off.
of me, there's a part of me deep down that I kind of crave it now. And it's like it's honestly
Yeah.
got more I'm kind of like itchy to like do something again. I don't know like if that's completely healthy, but I'm curious if you've had an experience like that where as you start to do these hard things, you almost and I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know if it's the like craving the confidence you gain from like pushing
Yeah.
yourself outside of your limits. Like I don't know if you get that too, but I've that's something I've been kind of dealing with, man. Just like
Dude,
craving more of it.
1,000,000%. Like
Yeah.
I just feel at least for me, like I went through it roughly once my like show was over, where I was just like, what do I do now? Like it's almost like I was waking up and I'm just like I have nothing like to train for. Like yeah, I can go run or I can go like do a swim, but like it's just like in my head it's like I constantly need something. It's and maybe that's like unbalanced, but and I struggle with that too because like I'm trying to find balance in my life as well because I feel like training wise like sometimes I get overwhelmed because it's like I'm like you said you're constantly doing something, but like once you hit that end goal it's like oh it was so worth it. But like and I also like because I think that part where it's like right now like I haven't drank in 8 months, but just the past 2 weekends like I've gone out with my friends and maybe I wasn't drinking, but like I'm there, like I'm holding a Diet Coke, no one knows I'm not drinking, like just being like around, like where I felt like I like especially when I was grinding to like trying to get to a certain point, it's like I isolated myself and that was like pretty rough. And I think like especially like with like what you're saying. Oh fuck, I fucking lost my complete train of thought.
No, you're good. I was just saying, like, there's a part of me that like just has like this like kind of itch and desire. It's like deep down, it's like once you do something hard, it's like I want to feel that again. Like I want to
No,
feel
definitely.
genuinely want to feel that again. And I don't know if it's like the byproducts of what you gain from it or you
Yeah.
know, I don't know, bro, but I just feel it.
No, I think what I was trying to say is like really going off of that is like the whole like when I was talking about the whole balance thing, it's like anybody who's ever been like great at something, like the Michael Jordans of the world or like the David Goggins, like the Nick Bears, like I think like for a certain period of time to get to where they are, like you almost need to be unbalanced
Hmm.
because it's like I saw like one quote today, like if you're like if you are there's 7 days in the week, like if you're grinding for 5 of those 7 days, like that's a 71%, that's a C minus. Like you're doing C minus work. Like
Hmm.
that's how if you were to like scan your week, but if you're grinding like 24/7, like you're doing A plus work. And I think like anybody, like people who get good grades in high school will go to good colleges. Like if you're doing A plus work your whole life, like shit's bound to work out.
Yeah, good,
I
bro.
think maybe the unbalance is good, but there's also time to be balanced. Like right now, like food wise, like I was unbalanced like during prep. Like I felt undernutritioned. My anxiety was through the roof. Like that was the hardest time of my life. But now it's like I have like the freedom where it's like, all right, like I have my training. I know how to eat. I know how to fuel. But I'm a big like, I've always loved cookies my whole life. That's the fat boy inside of me from junior high school. So like once a week, like I'm going to Crumble and I'm getting a 6 pack for myself and I'm crushing it. And that's just
Yeah.
like that's my balance at the moment. Like, or going to get all you can eat sushi with my girlfriend, like something like that. Like, but like I think having that little bit of balance is definitely it'll keep you sane in a way.
Yeah, bro, dude, that's so funny you mentioned Crumble, dude. I had literally never gone to Crumble until I moved down
That's
here.
crazy.
No, 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 until I moved down here to
Oh,
Florida.
okay.
And dude,
Okay, good.
I am like, I'm obsessed with Crumble cookie, bro. It's
Dude, it's
so
so good,
insane.
bro. Did you look at the cookies for this week?
No, bro, I haven't been there
Don't.
this week.
Don't.
Listen,
It's
uh,
rough. You're gonna like them.
well, I'm out for about 75 days. We'll talk about that later, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm off the cookie train. But dude, they're good. But bigger picture, I love what you said about balance. I think it is important.
Yeah.
You can still pursue that grit, that hard, that like that mindset of like trying to be your best while still, taking care of yourself, taking care of your balance and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think you need it.
For sure, for sure. Well, dude, I wanna I want to dive into kind of what's been going on the last month, a little over a month with you. I know
Yeah.
you've been I it's always like hard things, difficult seasons happen to everyone, right? And then when you're putting yourself out there on social media and you're choosing to go that route and you're choosing to make an impact and inspire, and you have to be, somewhat transparent with the good and the bad. Like it's kind of part of
Yeah.
your story if you're putting it out there and this is part of what you've been through. Um, you were in a bike accident, man. I'm gonna turn it over to you to kind of share the story. But yeah, I'd love to kind of just hear kind of what happened and how you've been able to kind of recover and get back on your feet and keep pushing through, the hard time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna leave out like some bits and pieces just for legal reasons, but
Sure.
like kind of like how like everything was going down is I had an hour workout that day where I had to hold over a 20 mile per hour pace, and I had like 3 minutes left. Like this is like because I like this, a lot of stuff like I don't remember like too much, but I remember like bits and pieces leading up, like blurbs here and there when I was going in and out. But I was holding that 20 mile per hour pace at 3 minutes left, and next thing you know, I'm slamming on the brakes and I black out, and a car like just takes me out. It was like that's what's playing in my head every time I bike right now. Like even when I'm driving too. Like so that's a whole different story. Like with like my like mental wise, but yeah, I took off the side of the car mirror with my face, flipped over the car, and completely blacked out. A kid, apparently I was just laying there in the street. A kid from my hometown lives down the shore as well, so that he saw me laying there, like gets out of his car, like comes over, like didn't even know it was me. It's like my face is just so like smushed, covered in blood, that it took him like 2 minutes to be like, "Holy crap, that's Jake." So a bunch of people come out of their house, like I'm like starting to wake up. I'm like in and out. Like I somehow remember my mom's phone number. Like I'm like my jaw is like because basically like I have 7 plates holding my face together right now, and then I have stitches all across here, stitches under here, here, and here. So like I had to get total facial reconstruction. Like I'm seeing a plastic surgeon still, like about like my mouth because there's still like holes, and like so they had to tape my gum to my forehead just to operate on my face. But I broke basically every bone in my face, which was like even when I look at the x-rays now, like I still get chills, and the pain that I was in the hospital, like it was rough. It felt like I got jumped by like actually it felt like I got hit by a car just right to the face, because like it's a 35-mile-per-hour road making a left. Like it was a hard hit, but like that's kind of like how the accident played out. I remember like calling my mom, like being like I'm okay, like she's freaking out, like, and then like getting like basically carried into an ambulance. They're like cutting like all like these clothes off me. Like I still like sadly like I have like scrapes and scars on my legs and stuff like that, which is like I still have like full transparency. Like I a lot with social media, like everyone like, and I do it too. Like I preach this hard lifestyle, but like I also like think that it's like super okay to be vulnerable about stuff. And like for me, like having these scars and cuts on my legs, it's like it's not a pretty picture. So like it gives me like anxiety, and like it sucks that I have to like see this every day. I'm putting scar cream on that my face because like I mean social media itself, like, and I say this to all my friends, where it's like everybody's going to post their highlight reel. Like why wouldn't they? So like I think that like right now, like when I'm documenting this journey back, like it wasn't easy, like I like at all. Like I'm like basically like somebody telling me like I'm like to a doctor, like just being like, yeah, like you're not allowed to do anything that you love anymore. And like that just like crushed my heart. Like it's just, and I every single day I'm like, when can I do this again? Like when can I do this again? And it's like, no, you're not allowed. And if you start going back to it, it's only going to make it longer. So like I just felt like so like lost in a way. And like there was so many times I'm like breaking down, like to my girlfriend, being like, am I ever going to be able to like do this again? Like how long is this going to take? Like am I going to, like I couldn't work out for like for weeks. Like am I going to lose all my muscle? Like I'm like even in the hospital, like I'm having my sister weigh out my foods and bring it like to the like damn hospital, because it's the only thing that I can control. And so I think just like, and that's another big thing too. I think like controlling what you can control. Like a
Mm.
lot of people like think that like we'll just like go off the deep end, and like that'll happen, but you got to get back on track. But like for me, it was like, all right, like the only thing I can control in my life right now, because everything else is taken away, is my food intake. So I up my protein by 40 grams, like from what it was, just to like be in a protein surplus to try to keep on as much size as I could. I knew I wasn't going to lose a lot of size or too much size in a less than a month span time, and muscle memory is a beautiful thing, thank God. But just like going through like the process of being like, yeah, you're on bed rest for 2 weeks, and like I can like talk about it now, but like I was not letting myself be on bed rest. So like when I got like they were like, first of all, you can stay in the hospital like for like or you should stay for like another like 4 days, and I was like, no, like I want to go home, like get me out of here. I know how much hospitals are too. I'm like, just get me out of this place. So I get home, I'm on bed rest, and like I woke up one morning and I'm like, if I'm gonna lay here every single day for the next 2 weeks, like it's not gonna help me. So I
Mm.
woke up and I'm literally like making myself like walking was rough to start too. So I'm making myself like walk like 6 miles. Next day I'm walking like 4 miles, like constantly just walking, walking, walking. And I slowly started to see myself get better over like a 5 day span. I was like, if I keep doing this, it's gonna keep like so it was just like pushing myself out of this rut. And like it was great enough where the doctor was like, all right, like you're cleared for band work. And I mean, he made me sign a bunch of paperwork because he knew I wasn't going to do band work. And I went into the gym, and like my brother's a lacrosse player at Duke, and like he's watching me out of the corner of his eye, making sure I'm not maxing out or anything like that. But like started moving some weight again, and like started to feel like myself again. So like I'm just trying to like with social media document that entire journey. It's what I'm doing on YouTube too, where it's like I showed like I had like this huge hole in my mouth, like from the stitches that opened up, and my mom has to like spray this saline and like this like I have it right here actually, like this like doctor or
It's
whatever. But I should put that in the YouTube video because like I want complete vulnerability. I feel like a lot of people like show these highlight reels, and like this for me is not a highlight reel.
mm.
And I don't want to just quit on this goal of becoming an Ironman, because like I love that quote where it's like I'm not what happened to me, I am what I chose to become. And I want to become an Ironman. And I think that like going that whole like hospital to Ironman journey that I'm trying to do, like I know that once I hit that goal, like it's like I'm gonna cry like a baby. Like it's gonna mean that much to me. Like that's how much this shit means to me. Is that like I'm willing to like go like from a point where like I couldn't move to doing like 2.4 mile swim, 112-mile bike into a marathon. And in my head, like freaks me the hell out. but like I'm gonna get it done regardless. And like that's kind of just been like my journey like throughout this process. And it's scary. I think that every single day is like I don't think that it's gonna get too much easier too fast. I'm gonna have to work at this every single day, but I know that at the end of the day it's gonna be worth it. And right now the main priority is just I know how that I could train. I know I'll get better at it. It's just working in my head. And I have a therapist like too. I talk about this because the bike is horrifying for me. Like it almost took my life, and like getting back on the saddle is something that has like literally like put me in a place where like I couldn't move. Has been really, really rough. And being in Philly, like people drive like crazy. So it's definitely it's been a pretty big struggle, but I know that I'll overcome it. I really do.
Dude. Wow. Well, first off, praise God that
A
you're
lot
okay.
of information, a lot
Dude,
of information right there too.
first off, dude, praise God that you're okay, man. Like I'm really encouraged by your heart and your determination to come back and to pursue the goal. But like just
Thank
honestly,
you.
before we dive into that, dude, like I'm just thankful you're here, bro. I'm thankful you're good. I saw in your post, like you were like, dude, um, you were even wearing a helmet, like, could have been the difference between life
Yeah.
and death.
And
And
that's
just
another thing, like
crazy,
helmet
bro.
wise, yeah, people like never like I'll see now like people biking and like they're going fast, they don't have helmets. And like growing up, like when you go out, you're in there at the beach and you're beach biking, like no one wears a helmet. Like it's not cool to wear a helmet. But now it's like, I mean, if they made a mega helmet that covered my whole face, I'd strap that thing on. I encourage people to wear helmets because like I don't want what happened to me to happen to them. And luckily, like the doctor's saying that like the shape that you're in, because like I was post bodybuilding show, like I was just straight muscle at the time. Like they were like your body itself, like basically just rejected injury. Like they're like if you were a 275-pound man with not the muscle that you had, like you probably would have been dead.
Hmm.
And like that's where it's like I'm so grateful that like in my this is like another thing like my like a hardship that I went through is 3 days before my bodybuilding show, my grandmother passed away, and my lineup was wake, funeral, show, and like my whole family, like we say it now, like Mimi was with me that day, like she's the reason that like I'm still able to do what I do and do what I love, and I have a way like at first I had a reason, or I had the reason like I wanted to inspire people, but now it's like I have a whole chunk of different people who like may have went through like a surgery or had to go through like losing a leg or whatever it is, like where it's like you can still like I want to inspire them to push past it because like it's never going to be easy, but like that fulfillment that you have, like you'll be so damn proud of yourself. So like I have like this whole like group of people now that I can try to inspire, and that's like the whole reason I do this. Like I just want to like I had those people like I love like Nathan stuff. I love watching him like Nick Bear. Like those are like two dudes who like when I was playing college cross, it's like that's like I would come home from practice and that's what I put on the TV as I'm eating my meals. Like I want to be like that for like how they were for me.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, you're helping a ton of people, man. And I know your stories. It's just like this is another chapter in your story that's, going to be able to help people and define who you are and how you're able to overcome it. One thing I'll say too, and this is where I think obviously you never want anyone to go through what you went through, but I think you have to like see the silver lining, the positive with all things, good and bad. And it's like
Yeah,
me, I'll just speak personally, like it, seeing what happened to you. I had another buddy who, Dom, who, just had cardiac arrest on the track and
I
like,
saw that. It was crazy.
bro, it really
Like the
just
healthiest people.
it's
It's
healthy as people,
wild.
man, but it puts things into perspective, man. Like you really can't take things for granted. Like, dude,
Not at
and
all.
it's not just fitness. Like, obviously, we all love working out, and that's like a big part of who we are and what we love. But like, just life in general, man. Like, it's
100%.
short, it's delicate. Like, it's nothing's promised. Like, we got to really lock in and not take it for granted,
Yeah. You got to do what you love every single day or else you're going to regret it.
for sure.
Like a lot of people like I know it's not everybody like some people will end up working 9 to 5s like me, you, Dom, like I could never do it. I could not be behind a desk from 9 to 5 punching numbers. Like I love doing this shit. Like and it's figuring out like different. Like you're basically just an entrepreneur. Like there's never just one source of income. Like it's a bunch of different things that come into play. And if you're doing what you love and you can support yourself, I mean that to me is a pretty damn good life.
For sure. No, I completely agree. You you're obviously in a way you talk about want to be vulnerable and not just completely hard all the time. But you're a
Yeah.
tough dude. What is that like mental process been like getting back? I know you said you're seeing a therapist, but like how have you been able to like, and you might not have a perfect answer because I'm sure you're still dealing with this, but like how have you been
Yeah.
able to start to work through that process to get that, confidence to get back on the bike and to keep pursuing training and to, get back to a relatively what you want to call like normal life?
Yeah. Well, I think that like I bottled a lot of things up for a while, and like that was because like when you see on social media like the Rogans, the Goggins, like it's everyone's just preaching like hard, 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 like your feelings don't matter, like and like for me it was like all right, like I'm so tough, like I don't need to share my feelings, like whatever it is, like I'm gonna push it down and like there's been points where like especially like my girlfriend's one of my biggest like support systems in the world where like I literally have like just broken down and like I'm saying to her like everything that's going through my head and she's just like yeah like of course like like yes that's happening to you but like it's because I don't share it and like I think that like right now like having a therapist like when if I 2 years ago would have looked at myself and just be like oh that's so soft like not really like I have this woman Amanda who's like the nicest lady in the world who once a week once every 2 weeks I can literally just sit down and just tell every single one of my problems to somebody who can like who won't judge me like has like it's a completely unbiased it that's been a huge support system and I think that if you can have the luxury of like having that or can do it like through your insurance like it's been super beneficial because like what we do it's like me you Nathan like there's always something like you're working 24/7 and like it can consume you at times and I've felt consumed a lot like even today like I'm like looking at my like training for this week, and I'm just like, I was having like a rougher weekend, and like especially like looking at these bikes and stuff, where it's like it consumes me, and I'm just like, all right, like I need to breathe, and like it's rough, and I think like I want to like share that more, where it's like I'm not a highlight reel. Like I may post like the good stuff, but like I also want to talk about the bad stuff. Like that's like something I want to be vulnerable about, and that's what I'm trying to do now, especially post accident, because not everything's good. You don't live 100% good lifestyle. Like like and there's a whole thing like this too shall pass. Like the
Hmm.
good will pass, the bad will pass, and like I know that this bike thing's gonna pass. But right now, like with having a therapist and being able to talk about it and having like a good support system where I'm like able to vent is what's best for me, then I'm gonna run with that.
Wow. That's amazing, bro. I'm really thankful that you shared that. And I'm hoping that this conversation helps maybe even just one person who needed to hear that. Because
Yeah, exactly.
I know there are people out there that need to hear what you just said. So I'm really, really hopeful that this will be in the right hands of people who just want
I
to hear
hope.
that. Especially
Yeah,
coming from someone like you who like on the outside, maybe if you don't look take a deep dive into what you're putting out, it's like this dude's a like you are a savage, but like there's more to it, right? Like being a savage doesn't mean you're always hard all the time. It's like
no,
you're pushing your best self, but you're being real about like life. Like life is complicated.
yeah,
It's tough. Like those are real things.
yeah, and I think like I would like listen to one of the Chris Bumstead podcasts, and he talks about like championship mindset. Like that's different for everybody. Like Michael Jordan, he was like a Goggins. Like he's just like hard, hard, hard all the time. Like screw your feelings. But like Chris Bumstead, like he's the same way. Like he breaks down. Like doesn't have like good moments all the time. Like he relies on Courtney King. Like that's just being a normal person. Like yeah, he's the goddamn champ and like he's like a stud, but like he's a normal human being too, where he has these moments where he breaks down, he struggles. Like that's a part of life. Like if like I can't find one person who's living this life where they're just everything's like 100% amazing. And if they say they are, then they're realistically probably lying. Like
Sure.
life's tough.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. But dude, I'm excited to be in your corner, bro, and be supporting you as you
Yeah,
kind of
likewise.
move through this journey of recovering and getting back. And you're already on your back on your feet, but just as you keep going through this, bro, I always got your back, and our community does. And I'm excited to see you crush it, bro, because I know you're gonna go get these goals, man.
Thank you, bro. You too. And I don't know if we can talk about it yet, but with you're doing, I know you're gonna kill it.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. I do want to hear like kind of like from a structural standpoint though, if you're cool with sharing, like what is your current training look like now that you're getting back in the flow of things? Like take us, if you don't mind, just take us through like a quick week of like kind of how you
Yeah.
structure at high level.
So I'm still kind of playing around with it right now, but like my approach to, I think everybody's different. Like you got to find what works for you. Like
Sure.
I love moving weight. Like I follow like bang weights, bang miles, get big. And like that's just like when I got into running, like there was a lot of skinnier runners and like I didn't want to be that. I wanted to be big, fast. Like that was like my end goal. So like that whole bang weights, bang miles like came into play where it's like developed this approach that really helped benefit me, helped build my body. And like obviously like I eat absurd amount of protein every single. I'm 250 to 300 grams of protein a day, which is insane. But like that's an old Ronnie Coleman saying like protein builds muscle. So like I've just like, all right, if I eat more, I'll get bigger. And so I follow like a power building approach with an emphasis on bodybuilding, but training legs like an athlete.
Hmm.
So like for me, it's I'll hit, and I mean I like I think I posted it before, but like for me, it's like I'll do legs on a Monday. Like my Ironman training is a little bit different now, but like a typical like hybrid split would be like I'll do legs on Monday, which like still heavy back squats, but I'll follow like a bulletproof knees program. Like I'll still have like a compound with hamstrings, whether it's RDLs, like something, two heavy movements, bulletproof knees, and then an easy run. Like that's like kind of what like a Monday would look like for me. Tuesday, like I'll do like a chest shoulders, and have like some sort of swim, bike, like some like cardio is 5 times a week, and everything changes too weekly. But like following like something where I'm hitting everything twice a week except for legs. Like legs I'm once a week because I'll do legs Monday, Wednesday speed workout, Saturday long run. And I think that like I have a good day in between my legs and my speed workout to get some rest. And then from the speed workout where I'm just crushing like pushing pace, I have like Thursday, Friday to recover, and then Saturday I'm pushing distance again. So like I've like and I played around with everything because like every anybody, I've failed with splits, I've failed with training, like but I've only learned from it, and now I found like this split that I think is super beneficial to me, where I can still push these compound movements, and like some days like I'll change it up, like if I have a crazy and like that's just because like my brain, but if I have like a Friday I'm going and biking like 50 miles, or and then the next day I'm running like 13, like that Saturday night it's like all right, let's just max out on deadlift just to see where we're at, just to, like cap off the weekend. But like that's just like it's not really like too much structure. Like everything's twice a week, like multiple forms of cardio, but a lot of it's just mindset training where it's like my mindset's just bang weights, bang miles, get big, and as long as I'm doing all three to my fullest potential and with all my heart, then I know that I'm having a good week of training.
I love it, dude. Yeah, I appreciate sharing that because I mean, we we've had a ton of different kinds of guests that have been training differently and for different goals and objectives. But it's cool. The big thing you touch on is like you got to find what works for you. But it is cool to like
Yeah,
to the mind of other people and kind of see what their process is, so you can kind of take what you like and experiment
yeah,
with
definitely,
big things like trying new things and figuring out how do you get to that perfect blend or as close as you can to that perfect blend for yourself.
100%. And like there's been times like I actually like this where it's like people schedule rest days.
Hmm.
And I'm like I hate that. Like I've always hated that. I think that like when your body needs a rest. So like if there's like a week where like I'm like I can go in and do shoulders and arms on this Sunday instead of taking a rest day. Like I like my like upper body feels good. Like I won't have a rest day. But if it's like a Thursday and I'm like, dude, I am hammered. Like I can't move. Like I can't go do back by right now and run 8 miles. Like that'll be my rest day. I'll still be active. Like I'll go on like a 4 mile walk or like bang out some pull ups, like do something. But like I think that like planning out that's like something with my training where it's like I have that 6 day split, but like I'll just recycle it and then throw rest days in when I need them. Like right now with Ironman training, like I obviously have a rest day because I'm always feeling crushed. But yeah, but I know I don't schedule them, and I think that like some people like might need to hear that because like I've like especially on this episode like I've talked about the vulnerability, I've talked about the hard, and like that's just like one of like the hards in my head where it's like when you'll need a break.
Wow, that's good. Dude, how are you getting 250 to 300 grams of protein down? Like, give us a quick, you don't have to go like every single meal you eat, but like I'd love for you to give us some like just some tips if you got some special meals you like to hit, or like how do you go through the day and knock out those macros? Because that's an absurd amount of protein.
Crazy. Here, I'll do. Wait, let me have it.
I'm,
I have
I'm
it
actually
right on my
really interested
phone.
because like I know I don't I'm obviously I haven't competed in a show, so I haven't had any real reason to track macros like from like a
Yeah.
competitive sense, but I know that it's a really cool way to just kind of check your levels to get like an idea of where you are. And I think the majority of people, I don't know the exact statistics, are way under their like recommended protein intake. Like
Oh
most
yeah.
do not eat enough protein. So I'm super curious how you kind of
All of like
your
all
protein.
my clients are like clients or guys who get one-time plans, like and like I take into account their weight, everything like that, how many times they're training. But like I'll have them like always in a protein surplus. Like if the end goal is to be a big runner, like the only way to get big is to eat more protein. Like have
Mhm.
your like carbs around your workouts. Something I've always followed. Like, but this is a typical like kind of day for me. Like this was 2 days ago. I got 270 protein and 250 carb, and then 100 fat. But it's like, let me see,
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
like I was like 40 grams of oats, 3 scoops of Rise Cookie Blast protein powder, 4 chewy chocolate and peanut butter protein bars, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter spread. For lunch, it was a jasmine rice, 200 grams, 8 ounces of chicken breast cooked. And then I had 2 of these protein anabars, and then I had beef and rice.
That was it.
And it adds up. It's not nothing crazy. Like I think that like I try to hammer protein early on in the day, and like because like I think like it doesn't like most people do a scoop or two in their oatmeal. Like for me, it's like all right, if I want to hit my protein goal, I'm gonna toss another scoop in there. Like there's some days I'll have like a 4 scoop bowl. Like if I know I'm gonna be like going to my girlfriend's house later that night, where I can't just be like ripping protein powder like at the dinner table or something like that. Like I'll have like 4 in the morning, something like that. So like, and I prioritize road trips. Like I'll get like 6 protein bars from like a Wawa. Like, I mean, it's not like cost effective. I mean, like it adds up, but like my like I'm very big on consistency because like I like to earn that cheat meal with like the crumble cookies like we talked about. So like I have like certain goals like diet wise as well. So like if I do hammer those, and then like for like my brick days is when I'll have like that cheat meal too. So it's like I know that like I put it all in there when like I'm after I've ran, swam, bike, lifted, and I'm laying in my bed with suits on, I could just be sitting there just crushing cookies. But that's
Love it.
kind of like diet.
That's awesome, bro. No, I appreciate you sharing that. Dude, last thing, this has been literally one of the coolest episodes we've done in a while, man. This has been fun to hear your story, but you've a really exciting project you're working on, and I'll let you kind of talk about it. But the brand that you're building, and that you're about to release some merch for, and some clothes. Like, I'd love to hear you just talk about what it is, how you came up with it, and why you're so passionate about, creating this brand.
All right, yeah, I love it. So the Hybrid Society Co. Bang miles or bang weights, bang miles, get big. Like that's just like we have this little running dumbbell. Like we think it represents the brand like really well. It was my best friend's cousin drew that, and then he's kind of been like we hired him to like do all of our shirts from now on. Like he crushes it. But my, I mean, I'm not even gonna let him be a silent partner anymore. His name's Sal Pascarella. He is. We met freshman year when we got to college. He played lacrosse here as well, and we've been roommates for the past 4 years. And he's kind of like I think I'm like he's like an introvert, I'm an extrovert, so like we mesh super well. Where like he was a data analytics major, he understands like Shopify, all of that. Where it's like we have a good like spiel going where like we can like wanted to build like a brand, like something that we like both really believed in. And I think that he loves the running and lifting. He's got a marathon coming up, so like he was
Nice.
getting into it, and we were like, let's start a company, see where it goes. And one thing that we like really believe in with the company is we donate 5% of all the revenue that we're going to make from this company to suicide prevention. My junior year of high school, I lost a very close friend of mine to suicide, and it was an extremely rough time. And very recently, his father had passed away to suicide, and it's something that really sits in our hearts. Where it's like if we're going to do something where we're going to like be putting ourselves out there, especially like with a company that we really believe in, like we want to give back too. So like having like and like we're gonna do like shirts and stuff that like really like push like preventing suicide and everything. Like I know that I mean I haven't ordered them yet, but I'm gonna get like 2 like running like tanks that say for Lou, which was his dad's name, but like just something that like when we are doing like these big things and these big goals, like he's there. Like he's like trekking along with us, and like he loved biking, like he loved David Goggins, like good dude. And like it's obviously like so sad and so tragic what happened, but like he raised a great son, like, and I couldn't ask for a better business partner either. And so like that's kind of like that is the hybrid society co. I think like the running dumbbell represents us, like having the cartoon aspect of it being like we were just like two college kids with a dream freshman year, being like we're gonna do energy drink company, we're gonna do this that, and then growing and we're like all right, like let's start with some clothes and we'll figure it out from there. But yeah, that's kind of been just like building that. I mean, we've been hyping it up for a while. We didn't know that shirts take so goddamn long to come, but we're like getting into it right now. We just got if I could actually show, we got some samples right here.
So,
If you can,
oh, bro, those are sick.
yeah, I like the black one's my favorite.
Wow, bro, that's so
But
clean. I like that a lot. It's awesome.
yeah, we're super pumped to get those out. And then we're gonna do the same. We're gonna do like sweatsuits, sweatpants, hats, like just try to do everything. And then super early in the works, but I'm talking to someone right now about an electrolyte powder, like trying to start like really build this into something. Like hopefully one day, like it'll be like a BPN, something like that. But
Yeah.
we're right now just doing everything we can. But yeah, that's kind of just like kind of the company right there.
Dang, I love it, bro. I love that you have such a awesome like drive and why behind it, why you're doing it. You're trying to help people. You're trying to bring light to a very serious thing that, has affected or will affect a lot of people, and it's obviously very
Yeah,
relevant in our society. So, dude, yeah, a lot of yeah, a lot of praise to you for doing that, man. That's really cool.
thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Dude, 100%. Dude, as we wrap this thing up, man, this has been a great episode. I'm really encouraged to put this out because I know there's going to be some people that need this one. Like we've
I love that.
we're fortunate to have a lot of really cool guests on. We get to talk about a lot of cool topics, but I think this episode in in particular is going to bring people value in ways that, they really might need. And so I'm really excited. But dude, as we wrap this thing up, man, I like to end kind of on some sort of question in this space. But if you could give yourself one piece of advice, like from where you are now to, knowing where you used to be, like what is that one thing you would tell yourself? You've grown a ton. Like you talked about kind of where you used to be and where you are now, but what's that like one piece of advice you could just give yourself? You wish you knew it at an earlier age and it's helped you get to the point where you are now.
I think just going all in was something that I've struggled with like very early on. Like especially like I grew up in a town like Westfield, New Jersey, and like the town itself is like very like judgy. Like it was like if you did anything out of the ordinary besides like play lacrosse or like go out or party or like was like one of those like frat kind of kids, like you were like looked at as like weird. And that was like a pretty tough like I hated that atmosphere. Like I still have like my boys from Westfield, but like they weren't those kind of people. And then when I got to college and everything, like it was a little bit different, but like just like I was so nervous like getting into social media where it was like, all right, I'm just gonna start taking my shirt off and flexing for people. Like it's just like it's hard. And I'm like, what are people gonna think? This, that. And then like once you start thinking that, everything starts rambling. And I think that I wish like earlier on I just like sent it and
Mhm.
just like, you know what? I'm gonna get made fun of. Like I look back like I have like one like DM from this kid who was from my town, and like he basically I put it on my story, and he was basically just like your net worth, like you'll never be an influencer, like just tearing me apart. And I screenshotted it, I favorited it, and I look at that photo all the time, and like that's just been like a huge drive for me. And like it's I don't know, like that was just like if I would tell anybody anything, like don't care what anybody else thinks. Like you should always like know your self-worth and everything. Like just push. Like if you have a dream, like why wouldn't you have one life? Like why wouldn't you chase it? And like you can't just leave a dream on the pillow. And like that's what I've been trying to do. Like I'm just constantly like, and I don't like I told you earlier, like I don't think any of this ever gonna stop. Like I have these big dreams, and like I will never stop chasing them. So I think just like my number one advice to anybody is chase it. Like go all in. Do not care what anybody else thinks. And like I think that with anything, like whether it's business, like fitness, whatever it is, if you work hard every single day, it's bound to work out. It's bound to happen. And like I think people like winners are just people who didn't give up. Like that's all it is. Like losers are people who are like, you know what, not for me. Like if you want to be a winner, like you're just gonna be the last one standing. You just gotta keep trekking. And like that's been a huge part of like my life, like once I got into social media and like just fitness or trying to inspire or being an influencer, whatever it is.
Dude, that's good. I never heard anyone say it like that. Don't leave the dream on the pillow. That's sick, bro.
No,
That's
you
fine.
can't. Thank you, man.
But you're the man. Dude, Jake, really, really encouraged by you, man. Super grateful for you, bro. And
Dude, likewise. Thank you for having me too. I mean, like we've been following each other for a while now. Like
yeah,
we see each other grinding. So even like, in fact, this is the first time that we're hopping on a FaceTime. Like we're gonna have to do it more, and we're both gonna be in each other's circles. And I'm just grateful you had me on. Let me tell your story, and like, bro, you inspire me as well. Like we're chasing big things.
let's go, bro. Man, I'm super excited, man. A lot of good things to come. Jake, this has been a fun episode. I thank you again for coming on the AIM podcast, man. I can't wait for people to hear this. It's gonna be super
Oh yeah,
motivating.
man. Thank you again.